This is going to be interesting. This is the Model MJ102LP record player. I don't know what company makes this because it doesn't say on the box anywhere that I can find so far. Anyway, maybe we'll discover it. Bought this off of Amazon purely for the novelty factor because this looks to be a very interesting device to say the least. So we've got, it's wireless. Not sure what that means. Maybe it's battery operated. Is that what it means? Vinyl, aux in, and aux out. On the side, we've got another line drawing, some specifications. Not really specifications, just sort of some features, I guess you would say. 2 times 15 watt plus 2-piece passive speaker. Support for 3345, aux out, aux in, and Bluetooth. Nothing new on that side. And we have orange. It is a nice orange. I mean, the box anyway. So let's see what's inside. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So first thing we got here is a manual. It does have decent weight. I mean, the overall box itself. Power knob. So there's a speed selector switch, an aux in, aux out, power switch. So these are pretty simple, but hopefully effective instructions. Looks like it does have like a ceramic cartridge and a decorative looking reproducer on there. Now, is this going to be just goofy or is it going to be something that is functional and interesting? Like another page there, but I can't get it to turn for some reason. User manual. And it's backwards. I love that. Is it manga or what? You know what I mean? It opens backwards. That's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and pull the device out of the box. Looks like it's in a clamshell styrofoam. Try to be as gentle as possible here. This is really cool. All right, so we've got our horn here, loosely wrapped in plastic. Some sort of metal. Is that purely decorative? Yeah, it looks like it's just painted plastic. Yeah, that's just a decorative element. Some of these actually have tweeters. They'll put a little tweeter in there and then a contact point down there, but this is purely for show. DC power supply. Surprised it's actually a 15-volt power supply. Looks kind of cool. I like the brushed look to it. Nice. Looks like there might even be an LED on there. And then, wow, this is a new level of cheap 45 adapters. Look at that. It's like, how little plastic can we use? That's a new one. I have never seen that before. Which brings to mind these. More on that in the near future. I think those are pretty cool. And dare I say, much better looking than the one that comes with it. Next up, we have the actual unit itself. Wow, it's surprisingly hefty. That is it for the package, or for the styrofoam, I should say. So let's take this out of its protective wrap. Interesting. Model number, output power, and power consumption, made in China. Interesting. It's like a sort of a plastic, or almost some sort of coating on the outside. Like, it feels surprisingly hefty. On the bottom there, we have a passive reflex. That's literally just a disc of plastic with a rubber surround, but it actually helps to radiate bass frequencies. We've got kind of softish plastic feet. I love the orange color. Over here, we have 33 and 45 switch, aux out, aux in, power jack. Nothing around this side. It looks like it's held together with Allen screws. Okay. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. So it's got a speaker grill on this side, and that's pretty cool. It feels pretty nice. You can see obviously the drivers in there. I think one in the center is another passive, like this. Up here we've got the platter, which is plastic, and it's got a felt thing. I don't think the felt is removable. And if we were to take it off, we'd just see the 4 screws down there and the center piece. Feels pretty tight. Interesting to see how that goes. We do have on and off switch and volume knob right here. And here's our tone arm, which appears to be metal here. This part is plastic. And this imitation reproducer, which is holding a Chuo-denshi ceramic cartridge right there. And this piece like angles. Wow. That's so lightweight. Like you would think that this would be so darn heavy, and it may still track heavy. We'll test it. But it feels very light and gentle. This reproducer, obviously completely decorative. It does nothing. But does it work as a functional tone arm? That's the question. Just put our decorative horn on top like this. Tighter than you would guess. Interesting. Why make it tight? Good grief. Okay, well, it's in there. That is bizarre. It's a strange amalgamation of retro and modern all at one time. Yeah, that's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's so weird. Just when you think you've seen it all. Yeah, this is something else. Now, how does it sound? That's obviously the question that we're all wondering. How does it perform? And can you play 3-inch records on it? It looked like maybe you can play a 3-inch record on it. Speaking of 3-inch records, this is my wife's record. She's got this cool miniature now spinning stand and a Norah Jones Christmas Don't Be Late album on 3-inch vinyl. These are very cool, very fun. Single-sided ABS disc with a laminate vinyl layer on the top. So yeah, we'll test that out. We'll obviously test 7-inch record, a 12-inch record, see if this thing is purely novelty or if it actually packs a little bit of decent performance as well. Judging by this, I'm guessing that there's no anti-skate built into the tone arm. Just a guess. Just a guess. All right, the first thing I want to test is the tracking force. I'm guessing that's foremost on everybody's minds. So let me go ahead and put the scale here. I'm going to take the guard off of this. So yeah, this is a Chuo-denshi clone ceramic cartridge, and let's see how heavy it is tracking. Okay, so it's pegging out right at about 5. So let's go ahead and recalibrate. I'm going to put a 5-gram weight on there. For some reason or another, it's only registering as 4.2. So I'm going to zero that out. So it's going to be 4.2 plus whatever this says. So it's somewhere around 5.7, thereabouts. Not terrible, but it is a bit on the heavy side, but not ridiculously so. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to stow this thing, and turns out you can rest it like that. Similar to a real phonograph, you can usually do that to those. Okay, now let's check the speed consistency. I have my handy dandy strobe disc. Boy, I get a lot of use out of this. I really, really do. So we are going to, we're going to put this on there. It does handle 12-inch records. And we are going to spin it up and see how accurate the sound is. Here we go. So we are going to be looking right here. This is for 33 RPM. And I am spinning it up or trying to. Takes a second to get going. Kind of odd there. Oh yeah, that's definitely fast. That's pretty fast. So it definitely needs a speed adjustment. Too bad there's no pitch control on this. Let me go up to 45. We'll be looking up here next. At 45, it is very, very fast as well. So just sort of across the board, it is running fast. Keep that in mind as we test things out. And speaking of testing things out, let's give it a listen. You know, one thing that having this be able to rotate up affords us is the ability to get a good and close-up look at this stylus and cartridge. It does have the metal cantilever, which is good. It's got a rubber boot. It's got a bridge. So it's not using the bare minimum in terms of stylus, which is a good thing. So curious to give this a listen. You know, these little devices, even though they are novelty devices, can sometimes surprise you with their performance. And the wattage on these speakers is not too shabby. So maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised, which would be cool. I love it when we're pleasantly surprised. Okay, for music, we will be using friend of the show, Laura Ainsworth's album, and I'm excited to give it a listen on this device. Listening acoustically, here we go. Hopefully the record will spin.
Necessary evil, my boy.
Got some punch for sure. To me, it sounds a little boxy. You know, not the most full range speaker, but it's good sound. It's not bad.
Well, a man sometime has to sip of the grape, cast his eye on a lovely shape. Then sometime a wager desire. If a man says he don't, he's not a man.
Pretty cool. I mean, honestly, this is pretty cool. Think of how small this is. And from a sound quality perspective, I think it either equals or maybe even surpasses slightly suitcase players. And the footprint is smaller than a shoe. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. Now, trying to cue up a song, like how do you do that? There's no queuing lever, so you kind of have to just grab this up, so that's not ideal. And it's definitely not a precise piece of instrumentation, but it's functional. We know it's functional. Let's go ahead and try a 45 on here. Next up is an Emil's Telegraphic 45. Let's go ahead and spin it. It's so weird how it takes a second to spin. I've never seen that before.
Goodbyes are always hard to say. Lord,
You know, something of this size makes me really think 3-inch record. So let's try one of those 3-inch records and see if it works. Using my custom made little adapter here, I've got a 3-inch record on here. Again, this is Norah Jones' Christmas Don't Be Late. Can't play much of it, but here we go. 33 RPM. As you can tell, the tracking angle is horrendous. If you were to say that sounds terrible, you wouldn't be wrong. So one of the problems with these records is the wow and flutter with the little 3-inch records. So to help that, I'm actually going to put a larger record on here, and then on top of that, place the 3-inch record and see if that helps. Okay, that didn't really do much. The reason why I put this adapter on top, besides the fact that it looks fabulous, is without it, watch what happens. That center adapter just pops up and the record goes flying because there's too much weight. There's just too much weight on the little record. So yeah, that didn't work, but it did play the other records decently, so that was a good thing. Now let's try a line input with a different sound source and see how good it sounds. So if I press this down, it acts as a function button and should toggle through Bluetooth, phonograph. There it says Bluetooth. Press it again.
Line in mode.
Line in. So for line in, we're going to be using this tape recorder. This is a Radio Shack TRS-80 computer cassette recorder. So this is the CCR-81 specifically. And yeah, it's just going to play some highly copyrighted Bing Crosby. Sound quality is similar. I mean, it's not drastically improved due to the external source. So let's play some more of this. Yeah, I mean, you could do this. I can't see a lot of people using this particular setup, but you could do it. More likely it would be your iPhone over Bluetooth, or it would be possibly an MP3 player that doesn't have Bluetooth out connected to it. I could see that as well. This is a very modern, sort of minimalistic look. I wish they would simply forego the retro stuff and just stick with the modern look, because actually that's more appealing to me for this particular product. I think you should just leave it be, personally. You know, just have like a decent, simplistic tone arm on here. I think that would have worked just fine. That's not bad. The tape quality, or the input quality is not bad at all. Let's test the Bluetooth. Let's just go for everything here. Okay, one final sound test here. Here is Bluetooth. This is the song Secret of Tiki Island by Kevin MacLeod. That one, it's very reminiscent of Arthur Lyman. That sounded really good. It was clear, it was bassy, it was rich. So I'm thinking now the speakers are fine. The sound system in terms of the amplification and the speakers are fine. The sound quality limitations are the ceramic cartridge. Yeah, it's basically, and the line input it is what it is for a cassette tape. I think really the sound quality potential is here. It's just, you know, if this had a magnetic cartridge, then this would have sounded a lot better on vinyl, of course. And perhaps if I tried a CD as an input device, as a cassette, we would have realized, you know, because this is a classroom type of player. This isn't this is not a high fidelity tape player. So with the right inputs or Bluetooth, it sounds pretty stellar. But with the ceramic cartridge and mono cassette deck, it's adequate. Final thoughts. $43 on Amazon. I think it's worth it as a novelty item or as possibly a secondary item for an adult, or a Bluetooth speaker that just happens to play records as well. It's kind of bizarre because if you took the turntable off and the kind of silly fake horn, it would just look like pretty much any other Bluetooth speaker. But I feel that the horn is unnecessary, like I was saying. It would be much better if it just had a magnetic cartridge or even a ceramic one that didn't have all the retro theming and styling on it. That being said, it is cool. Ultra small footprint. So if you have a very small space, you live in a small house at one of those tiny homes or a small apartment, you got a little bit of space on the bookshelf, you can add vinyl to your setup because it's got everything you need to physically play records. Yeah, I'll go ahead and recommend it. Link down below. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a heck of a lot of fun to review and to share with you and to test out. All right, my friends, and another Vlogmas comes to a close, but don't worry, we'll be back with another one tomorrow. We've got some amazing things coming your way you're not going to want to miss. But that's going to do it for now, so happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.